Work and learn. Meet Light Meet Max සක්‍රිය කර ගැනීමට MySLT app එකට log වෙන්න. Work and learn. Meet Light Meet Max සක්‍රිය කර ගැනීමට MySLT app එකට log වෙන්න.
Lifebuoy shampoo ලෙති කිරි ප්‍රෝටීන් සහ මල්ටිවිටමින් හිස කෙස් මුල සිට පෝෂණය කර ශක්තිමත් කරයි.
Building ties. Russia's Putin tells Sri Lanka's president he is counting on the activities under new presidency to foster further development of constructive bilateral cooperation. Technical advancement. The national fuel pass system to be implemented from tomorrow. But fuel crisis to prolong for next 12 months, says Energy Minister. Not over yet. Cases of COVID on the rise again. Yesterday's caseload at 75. All this and much more coming up tonight on First at 9. This Monday, the 25th of July, 2022.
Vim Dear milliliter CA Smart Pack එක රුපියල් 85ට දැන් වෙළඳ පොලේ.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to AdaDerana 24's English News. I'm Andrew Bernard. Now in your top stories for tonight, the Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, announced today that the National Fuel Pass system would be implemented from tomorrow and run simultaneously with the number plate system until the 1st of August. From the 1st of August, only the National Fuel Pass system will be in effect for refueling purposes. According to the Energy Minister, fuel imports would have to be restricted for the next 12 months due to the forex shortage. The National Fuel Pass system introduced by the Ministry of Power and Energy as a solution to put an end to the long fuel queues seen across the country at multiple refilling stations was supposed to go into effect from today. However, the program did not get underway as the Information, Communication and Technology Agency said that it would take a few more days to have the program up and running. As such, the National Fuel Pass system was once again operated as a pilot project across various refilling stations.
මේ වන විට අප පද්ධතිය සමග මිලියන 4කට ආසන්න වාහන ප්‍රමාණයක් රෙජිස්ටර් වෙලා තියෙනවා. අපට ඉන්ධන පිරවුම්හල් වලින් හොඳ ප්‍රතිචාර ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. සහ ජනතාවගෙනුත් පුරවැසියන්ගෙනුත් අපිට හොඳ ප්‍රතිචාර ලැබිලා තියෙනවා මෙම පද්ධතිය පිළිබඳව. අද දිනේ වන විට අපි වාහනේ චැසි අංකය බලලා තමයි රෙජිස්ටර් වීමට අපි පහසුකම් සලසලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉදිරි දින කිහිපය තුලදී රෙවෙනියු ලයිසන් එක එහෙම නැත්නම් ආදායම් බලපත්‍රය හරහාද වාහන රෙජිස්ටර් වීමට අප පද්ධතිය පුළුල් කරනවා.
Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said today that the QR system was introduced since daily fuel demand cannot be fulfilled and due to the existing foreign exchange shortage, fuel imports will have to be restricted in the next 12 months. He added that the CPC had never distributed fuel daily to every single fuel station and that it was not practically possible to do so even if stocks were available in unlimited quantities. The minister then announced today that the National Fuel Pass system would go into effect from tomorrow island-wide at multiple CEYPETCO and IOC filling stations. The system will also run simultaneously with the number plate system that is being used to dispense fuel until the 1st of August. The minister emphasized that from the 1st of August, fuel will be strictly issued under the National Fuel Pass system, making fuel distribution under the number plate system and any other allocations invalid thereafter. He added that while a priority in fuel distribution will be made to 60% of the locations that have already been equipped and tested, all stations not equipped or undergoing technical difficulties will follow the last digit and the fuel quota allocation until the technical issues are rectified. Minister Wijesekara said that options will be given to users to register multiple vehicles using their business registration by the end of the week, while divisional secretaries will be given access to the platform to register generators, gardening equipment and other equipment as well. Police departments and divisional secretaries will be given access to register three-wheelers, allocating each three-wheeler to one specific fuel station. The subject minister went on to say that the Minister of Transport will be given access to register buses, allocating them to depots or fuel stations accordingly. Further, the health, agriculture, fisheries, tourism, industries and services sectors will be given access to the system to register their requirements and allocation of vehicles at fuel stations. With this being the case, fuel is currently being distributed according to the last digit of the number plate. As such, vehicles with number plates ending with 6, 7, 8 and 9 were seen waiting in queues to get fuel today. However, some people who seek to exploit the system were seen using fake number plates to match the date allocated for fuel issuance were also seen. The police arrested 2 such individuals at filling stations in Bandaragama today. A tense situation at a filling station in Badula was also reported today when the station ran out of fuel. Meanwhile, a group of people attacked a pump attendant at the Bandaravela IOC petrol station yesterday afternoon. Now, all government and non-government schools resumed school activities for the first time today after closing in late June due to the fuel crisis. Even though students and teachers were seen eagerly making their way to school, the lack of fuel leading to a shortage of public transport caused severe inconveniences in getting to schools. All schools island-wide resumed for the first time after weeks of closure due to the fuel crisis prevailing in the country. Many teachers and students were seen attending school today enthusiastically in the city of Colombo. Many school vans and buses were also operational today.
සතුටුයි අපිට ඉතින් ඉස්කෝලේ යන්න වෙච්ච එක.
දවස් 5ක් තිබුණාද හොඳ.
ඔන්ලයින් එච්චරම සාර්ථක නැහැ මේගොල්ලෝ කරන්ට් කපන්නේ නැහැ කිව්වට මේ උදේ පාන්දරම කරන්ට් කපනවා. ඒකට හරියන්නේ නැහැ නේ.
However, students travelling to schools via public transport had to spend long time at bus stops waiting for buses. Even though buses were unavailable, thereafter they were packed with many making their way to their places of work at the start of the week. The Private Bus Owners Association, however, stated that 50% of the buses were in operation today for the benefit of school children. However, even though school children in Colombo had the opportunity of making their way to school, children outside the district had to face difficulties due to the lack of transport. In the meantime, the Ministry of Education stated that it had decided that schools will function on 3 days a week during normal school hours. As such, students would have to attend school on Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays and attend school online on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Now, the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka says that a power interruption of 3 hours has been approved for tomorrow. Accordingly, power cuts of 1 hour and 40 minutes during the daytime and 1 hour and 20 minutes during the nighttime will be imposed in the groups A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and I and J as well as K, L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W. 2 hours and 30-minute power cuts from 6 am to 8:30 am will be imposed in groups CC. Groups M, N, O, X, Y and Z will experience 3-hour power cuts from 5:30 am to 8:30 am. Now, the Sri Lanka police says that one of 2 T-56 firearms that were stolen by protesters from the Triforce's personnel during the protest near the Polduva junction was recovered during a search operation in the Diyawana Lake area. Investigations are underway in search of the remaining firearm. In the meantime, 3 individuals have been arrested for stealing 40 gold-plated copper balls used as curtain accessories from the president's house in Colombo. According to the police, those arrested were produced before the courts and currently remain under remand custody. 2 T-56 firearms along with 2 magazines containing 60 live rounds of ammunition were snatched from the army personnel by protesters during a tense situation that erupted during the protest that took place near the Polduva junction in Battaramulla on the 13th of July. Since then, search operations were conducted to recover the stolen firearm and the live ammunition in order to prevent any harm to the public. On Saturday, the 23rd of July, one out of the two firearms were recovered by the Navy divers who were conducting a search operation in the Divisonal lake. An empty magazine was also found by the divers during the operation. The weapons were then handed over to the Valikada police, who are conducting further investigations. Search operations are undergoing to recover the remaining firearm. Meanwhile, the parliamentary debate over the attacks faced by the protesters during the police and the military operation to retake control of the presidential secretariat on Friday is scheduled to be held the day after tomorrow. The request for a debate was made to Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena by Chief Opposition Whip Lakshman Kiriyalla. Although a request had been made to hold the debate today, the government decided to hold the debate on the date of the next parliamentary session, which is day after tomorrow, due to the impact of the fuel crisis in convening parliament and calling MPs. In the meantime, 3 individuals were arrested for stealing 40 gold-plated copper balls used by curtain accessories at the president's house in Colombo. The police said that the suspects had stolen the items after the public stormed and occupied the president's official residence following the mass protest on the 9th of July. The arrested are aged between 28, 34 and 37 years and are residents of Obesekarapura in Rajagiriya.
ඔවුන් අද දින ගරු අධිකරණයට ඉදිරිපත් කරනු ලැබුවා. ඔවුන් මේ වන විට රක්ෂිත බන්ධනාගාරගත කර තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අරලියගහ මන්දිරය සම්බන්ධයෙන් විමර්ශන කටයුතු පවත්වන කොළඹ දකුණු කොට්ටාශයත් මේ වන විට සැකරුවන් දෙදෙනෙක් අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන තිබෙනවා. ඔවුන්ත් මේ වන විට රක්ෂිත බන්ධනාගාරගත කර තිබෙනවා.
Now, the Conference of Major Religious Superiors of Sri Lanka fiercely condemned the attack on the protesters on the 22nd of July. The Triforces, Police and Police Special Task Force carried out an operation on the 22nd of July to remove protesters who were occupying the presidential secretariat. They called on authorities to stop what they termed as dishonorable behavior and pay attention to the people. Issuing a statement today, the Conference of Major Religious Superiors of Sri Lanka condemned the attack on peaceful protesters carried out by the Triforces, Police and the Police Special Task Force, who launched an operation on the 22nd of July to remove the protesters occupying the presidential secretariat. According to the statement, they fiercely denounced the shameful attack upon peaceful and unarmed protesters in Golface on the morning of Friday, the 22nd of July. The CMRS went on to state that freedom of speech and participating in peaceful demonstrations are unalienable rights protected by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Constitution. As such, while expressing their profound dissatisfaction with the way the new leadership is discharging its executive powers, they humbly implored relevant authorities to put an end to such behavior and to hear what the people have to say and implement the real change that the nation needs right now. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said he's counting on the activities of President Ranil Wickremesinghe to foster further development of constructive bilateral cooperation in various spheres for the benefit of the people of both nations and in the interest of strengthening regional stability and security. He made these remarks in a congratulatory message to the Sri Lankan head of state, which was handed over to the Russian envoy in Colombo, Yuri Materi. Russian ambassador to Sri Lanka Yuri Materi called on President Ranil Wickremesinghe this morning at the Prime Minister's office in Colombo. During the meeting, President Vladimir Putin's congratulatory message to President Ranil Wickremesinghe's election was handed over by the Russian envoy. In his message, the Russian president has said that he is counting activities of the Sri Lankan president as head of state to foster further development of constructive bilateral cooperation in various spheres for the benefit of the people and in the interest of strengthening regional stability and security. The congratulatory message of President Putin came 3 days after a congratulatory message from Chinese President Xi Jinping, who expressed his willingness to provide support and assistance to the Sri Lankan people and for efforts of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Earlier this month, former head of state Gotabaya Rajapaksa had a telephone conversation with the Russian president requesting an offer of credit support to import fuel to Sri Lanka and from Russia in a bid to overcome the current fuel shortage in Sri Lanka. Now we'll be back with more news after this break. Stay with us.
Big 3.
Welcome back. Now, the number of COVID-19 cases in the country is on the rise again, according to the statistics from the past few days. 75 cases were detected yesterday. In order to prevent another COVID outbreak, health authorities urge the public to get themselves vaccinated as soon as possible while adhering to the health and safety protocols. Since the beginning of the year, the COVID-19 situation in the country, which early exerted a major pressure on the health sector, was under control. The level of control of the spread of the virus was achieved due to the successful vaccination program carried out island-wide by health authorities as well as public adhering to health and safety protocols. As a result, the public is now able to enjoy freedom of movement to its maximum as the country remains free from travel restrictions or quarantine curfew early imposed to curb the spread of the virus. The Health Ministry also recently announced that wearing masks, which was made mandatory as a safety precaution, was no longer necessary as a regulation. However, a controlled state of the virus does not mean the virus is completely eradicated from the country. It is now reported that the number of cases has once again begun to rise. During the past week, 62 cases which were detected on the 18th and the 19th of July, while 75 cases were reported on the 20th. 57 cases on the 21st, 68 on the 22nd, 72 on the 23rd, and 56 on the 24th have been reported, while a caseload of 75 were detected yesterday. According to a consultant physician at the Infectious Diseases Hospital in Colombo, Dr. Ananda Vijay Vikrama, the number of hospitalizations due to COVID-19 infection has started to increase. He said that 25 patients are currently receiving treatment and 1 out of them is being treated at the hospital ICU. In this backdrop, health authorities urge the public to get themselves vaccinated as soon as possible while adhering to health and safety protocols to prevent the spread of the virus.
තාමත් ලංකාවේ 60ට වැඩි පුද්ගලයන්ගෙන් මිලියනයකට අධික පුද්ගලයන් දෙවන හෝ තෙවන එන්නත් මාත්‍රාව ලබාගෙන නැත. ඒ කොටස තමයි හැමදාම මේ සංකුලතාවයන් වලට ගොදුරු වෙන්නේ. අපි දැන් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී හතරවන මාත්‍රාවත් නිර්දේශ කරලා තියෙනවා. හැකි ඉක්මනින් ඔබ ළඟම තියෙන ඔබේ රෝහලට හෝ සෞඛ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරී කාර්යාලය මගින් ඒක ලබා ගන්න කියන එක ආයාචනා කර සිටිනවා.
Now, the Ministry of Health has planned to implement a special dengue eradication program today due to the increase in dengue mosquito density. The director of the National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Sudat Samaravira, said that more than 44,000 dengue patients have been identified in the country so far this year. Dr. Samaravira also added that if the current situation is not controlled, dengue may develop into an epidemic situation. He said that in the month of July, almost 9,000 suspected dengue cases have been reported in the past 3 weeks, adding that there is a risk of further development of the situation. With that being the case, he said there is a possibility of dengue disease developing into an epidemic situation, and to control the situation immediately, this special program has been launched. At the same time, he made a special request for the public to be concerned, to keep the surroundings clean and for destroying the places of mosquito breeding. Now, the foreign travel ban imposed on former Central Bank Governor Dr. Ajit Nimar Cabral has been extended until the 26th of October by the Colombo Magistrates Court. The court ordered this when the complaint lodged by former Southern Province Governor Rajitha Kirthi Tennakun was taken up before the Colombo Additional Magistrate Harshana Kakunawala today. The case was postponed until October 26th. The complaint alleged that during his tenure as the central bank governor from 2006 to 2015, Cabral had paid a sum of USD 6.5 million to Pakistani-American political donor Imad Zubairi without the cabinet's approval, and thereby is responsible for criminal breach of trust and criminal abuse of funds. The complainant also alleged that while serving as the governor of the central bank, Cabral caused a loss of $500 million to the government of Sri Lanka through sovereign bonds due to the 18th of January 2022. Welcome back. In your business news, the Sri Lankan shares extended losses from the previous session to end more than 1% lower today, weighed down by losses in industrial and financial stocks. At the close of trade, the CSE All-Share Index was down 1.7% at 7,639. The index on Friday posted its second consecutive weekly gain, advancing 3.4%. On the CSE All-Share Index, trading volume fell to 46.3 million shares from 52.8 million shares in the previous session. The equity market turnover was 744.9 million rupees, down from 866.6 billion rupees in the earlier session. Foreign investors were net buyers in the equity market, purchasing 122.8 million rupees worth of shares, while domestic investors were net sellers, offloading 624.8 million rupees worth of shares. Now, Ukraine said it hoped today a UN-backed broker deal aimed at easing global food shortages by resuming grain exports from the Black Sea region would start being implemented this week. Moscow brushed aside concerns that the deal could be derailed by the Russian missile strike on Ukraine's port of Odessa on Saturday, saying it targeted only military infrastructure. A global wheat shortage and soaring European energy prices are some of the most far-reaching effects of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, threatening millions in poorer countries with hunger and prompting fears of Europe over heating supplies this winter. Ukraine's Deputy Infrastructure Minister told at a news conference he hoped the first grain shipment under the deal would be from the port of Chormanovsk. The Ukrainian Infrastructure Minister said that the convoys will be accompanied by Ukrainian rescue vessels. He also said that they will go first along with the vessels of the Ministry of Infrastructure, and they must say that it is not a simple process. Global wheat prices rose sharply today due to uncertainty over the grain agreement, erasing most of the fall seen on Friday, where traders had anticipated an easing of supply shortages. Now that's all from us here at First and 9. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.